Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
This is the Inside the Sox podcast, and now here's your host, Kevin Baver.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the latest edition of Inside the Sox podcast presented by Grandstand Productions. My name is Kevin Baver. Alongside me, a man needs no introduction, my boy, Rob Anglin. What's going on, dude?
What is up? Nothing much. Just happy to be here, ready for big news ahead of the winter meetings. And we also have a special guest on camera with us today, our good friend Justin, who makes all of this possible. So you guys get to see Justin again.
Yes, Justin's in there.
Justin's the guy who's been getting us a lot of these stats, and now we're going to get them even faster. We got a new method going on, so we're all here for a good time and ready to talk Sox.
It's all coming together exactly the way we drew it up, and this is awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to do this episode. Winter meetings. We're going to dive right in. All right, we're going to talk winter meetings. We're going to talk Xander. We're going to talk, different free agency suitors. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, which we're blessed to do. Let's start with Xander. Xander Bogaerts. Other day, Peter Gayman's Twitter. I don't know if it was a comment on a tweet. I don't know if it was a tweet himself. The typing on it was kind of difficult, and I know Peter is older in his age. He basically said that Xander and the Red Sox communication was severed, right? The communication between Xander and the Boston Red Sox was severed. They were not communicating, and that was immediately debunked. We know that there's so many sources. I'm not going to name them all, but very, very reliable sources, credible sources have come out. They said this is not true. However, what we do need to discuss is what would Xander Bogaerts do in San Diego, Rob? Where are you going to put him? Where are you going to put it? So before second base, right? They asked him if he could play second. They could ask him if they could play first. Boris came out and said he is going to play shortstop. Okay, where do you put him?
For this situation, where do I put him? I put him as shortstop with the Boston Red Sox. Let's get that straight.
That's a perfect answer. That's a perfect answer.
How to answer? Honestly, this is how I feel about this situation. I think with Xander, they were talking about putting Xander Bogaerts at first base. Listen, if he didn't want to play second base to get this man in Boston, thank God Story's in Boston because he's a team player. But
that's right.
If he didn't want to, he said, "I'm the shortstop of this team." What makes you think he's going to move to first base, move to second base, wherever? Think about it. Ready? The Padres, they're only going to have like 30 games without a shortstop, technically.
Yes.
Because we all know who the shortstop of the San Diego Padres is, Fernando Tatis Jr., who's currently suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, who I think is going to have a bounce-back year.
Yep.
But are you really going to go after a guy who plays shortstop for a couple – I mean, he could DH for the Padres, for all we know, DH, second base, wherever you want to put him. But I don't want to think that right now. I want to think Red Sox shortstop Xander Bogaerts. That needs to be the title. Red Sox captain Xander Bogaerts needs to be happening this year. And honestly, I think it's a two-headed horse. It's either Padres or Red Sox, and it should be leaning to Red Sox. There has been reports on Twitter saying the Red Sox are the favorite, which it absolutely should be. The Red Sox have been his team since the day he became a major leaguer. And another thing is Buster Olney tweeted the Bogart situation reminds him of John Lester situation. And I tweeted at him. I replied to it. And I said, the only difference is the Red Sox won't let that slip out of their hands. Buster Olney actually surprisingly responded to me. And I have the tweet right here so you guys can see it. He said, we'll see. They don't control this anymore. If there's any team that can control this situation, it's the Red Sox. I know Xander Bogaerts controls his own fate, But if the Red Sox give him a contract that he can't pass up, and he explicitly said he wants to stay in Boston, the Red Sox do control this. They give him the money he deserves, the year he deserves. There should be no other option. Xander Bogaerts should be the Red Sox shortstop.
This almost makes and we've said it all along. We want Xander home. We want Xander in Boston. We want him to be that solidified. Whether they give him the title or not, he is our captain, right? As fans, we view him as the captain of this team. The frustrating thing is, and then I'm going to dive into Sam Kennedy a little bit. Sam Kennedy gave us some really, really good clips and kind of insight to what has been going on over these last few weeks in the off season. He said he was sitting at Thanksgiving dinner, and he must have been listening to this podcast because we talked about that as well. He said he was sitting at Thanksgiving dinner and he was going, his phone wouldn't stop going off, right? So they are being active, right? But it's been 7 days. So now I'm kind of like, and I give Sam Kennedy a very, very hard time. I think he's a yes man when it comes to that upper echelon of the Boston Red Sox. He sounds like the guy who wants to make sure that the season ticket holders still, renew their tickets. However, if you do not put the product on the field, including our biggest piece, which is Xander Bogaerts, then I think you're going to have a lot of upset Red Sox fans. Xander has and Boras knows how to play to the crowd, right? Scott Boras, Xander's agent, is very, very good at manipulating, whether it's through his words, actions, things like that. He knows how to get the people going. He knows how to get his clients' names out there. He knows how to drive up market value. He knows how to do all sorts of different things that can manipulate a situation. But it is a business, and he's doing what's best for his client, and that's to get the best possible deal on the plate for him. I think Xander Bogaerts does come back to Boston. I believe it will happen sometime during the winter meetings. I believe he will be our captain, our shortstop. I believe it does work out. The doubts that I've had over the last few weeks, and really since the off season started, are really starting to get more and more distant. I'm starting to feel more at peace with I think Xander's going to come home. San Diego blows my mind. I don't know how that works. The New York, all right, so there was a New York where, and I tweeted this out, and it gained a lot of friction. He was linked to New York, Xander, right, Rob? Top two prospects in New York, shortstops, okay? You have an infield that is crowded with players. Logistically, it just doesn't make any sense. All right. There was another report the other day that the Arizona Diamondbacks were interested in Xander Bogaerts. I'm not trying to throw shots at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Do they have a horse in the race with Xander? No. If I'm being honest, no. A player of that caliber for a franchise that is receiving luxury tax money, I don't see it. So, Xander, we want you back. We want you back. We want you back. I can't say it enough. Before I lose my mind on Xander and everything that goes along with it, let's talk about winter meetings starting this Sunday, right? California.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Big
Rob?
thing about the winter meetings is obviously sorry, gotta clear my throat for a second, guys. There we go. One thing about the winter meetings that I really like is this year is the first time it's back since 2021.
Yes.
2020. 2020, because COVID happened during February. Obviously, the season shut down. This is the first time we've had it since then. And everybody knows that the winter meetings is one of the biggest things in baseball. All the GMs go to this event. They go talk trades. So you're going to see a lot of trades go down. You're going to see a lot of free agent signings going down. You're going to see a mix of everything. And obviously, this is a big thing. All of them meet up. They talk baseball. They talk trades. They talk signings. They get to meet the players come with their agents. They all meet up. And big deals are signed in the winter meetings. We've seen a couple of years ago in 2012 with the Red Sox signing Carl Crawford during that big winter meetings.
Yes.
We've seen Adrian Gonzalez sign. And
Adrian
that big
Gonzalez.
Meetings. We've seen a lot of players get locked up by the Red Sox during the winter meetings. And the thing about the winter meetings is franchises are going to spend. They're going to spend their money. they're going to meet with players, and once the big domino falls down, once one big free agent
Yep.
falls off the market, they're going to drop like flies, and that's what I love about the winter meetings. One player leaves, and that just opens up to everybody signing. That's why we didn't see so much of it last year because of obviously the lockout happening around this time last year. Players didn't sign until late before March. Like Trevor Story didn't sign until like 2 weeks before the season because obviously the lockout. So we're going to see players signing earlier this year, hopefully.
Hopefully, and we've been as patient as we could possibly be, right? We've been as patient as we could possibly be. I've never been more excited for the winter meetings, in recent memory. As you said, this is the time where usually deals go down. We're going to talk about the domino, right? And to me, and I think we agreed on this on past episodes, Aaron Judge is that domino. Aaron Judge reports 8 years, $300 million from the New York Yankees. If you ask most people around the league, and if you follow most people around the league, they're saying it's about a 50-50 shot between the Yankees retaining Aaron Judge or him signing with the San Francisco Giants. I believe Judge has come out and said that he wants the deal done. I thought he said it prior to the winter meetings. I may be wrong on that, but I know around the winter meetings he wanted to get it done. I think he sets the market value, and then all of a sudden it's going to be a free-for-all. So we talk about Xander coming back to Boston. We talk about Trey Turner, right? Mm-hmm. Trey Turner is another, big shortstop name, someone that we thought could fill the gap if Xander left Boston, right? Instead of moving Story over to shortstop because he's got the elbow issue, he's got the shoulder, we don't know if he would be as healthy there. Trey Turner is another massive name on the market. He looks like he's almost solidified, wants to be on the East Coast. Phillies are the best fit. I think Rob, Trey Turner, Phillies, right? I mean, let's discuss some of these names.
So for free agent shortstops, we have a big list. Obviously, Trey Turner, I think he should go to Philly. I think he's an East Coast team. The Cardinals are another team that needs a shortstop as well. So don't rule him out. If the Red Sox don't get Xander, which I don't even want to think about this, Xander should be a Red Sox, and I think it's going to happen. It's going to get done. But if it doesn't happen, Trey Turner in Boston wouldn't be a bad option. But I think that Turner would definitely – I think they should just get him to Philly. Then we don't have to worry about Bogarts going to Philly. There kills that rumor. So we're just trying to, we just want to see Bogarts get signed because – and Judge, I think – speaking on Judge, I think he goes to the Giants. They're saying it's 50-50 right now, and he's close to making this decision. The Yankees' offer is finally on the table. It's 8 years, $300 million, which makes it $37 million per season, which would make him the highest on AAV by any player in Major League Baseball history. He'll be paid the most by any Major League Baseball player. But I honestly think when it comes down, if Aaron Judge signs, everybody's going to sign. And when it comes to shortstops, there's things this year. There's a lot of shortstops. There's still Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson of the Braves, and then like you said, Trey Turner, Xander. There's a lot of options, but I feel like Trey Turner should go to Philly.
I want to have a little fun here. Okay, so we got Xander Bogaerts, we got Trey Turner, we have Swanson, we have Correa. So I'm gonna go over where I think these four guys land. Okay, I think I do think, like I said before, I think Xander comes back to Boston. I think we do figure that out. I think Trey Turner ends up in Philly. I think Carlos Correa actually winds up in LA. I think Correa does end up in LA. I know. I think Correa ends up in LA. And I think that that Swanson could end up in either Seattle or, you know what, I'll go with the safe pick. I'm gonna say St. Louis. I'm gonna say that's where. Okay. So give me your four. Give me your four. Where they're going.
We're both on the same page with Xander Bogaerts.
Okay.
I think he comes back to Boston. Or if he doesn't go to Boston, San Diego, but it's Boston. Carlos Correa, you're going to be surprised. They were in on him last year. He didn't obviously sign the deal. The Baltimore Orioles are going to land Carlos Correa.
Wow. Okay.
Last year they were in on him. They offered him a big contract. We heard they offered him a big contract. I think he saw how they played this year, and they have a bright future.
I like that.
A guy like Carlos Correa at shortstop, that adds a flair factor. That has a big flair factor for the Orioles. I think he would be great in Baltimore. But yeah, Carlos Correa there. Dansby Swanson, I see him going back to Atlanta. He should go back. Okay. If he doesn't land in Atlanta, I mean, there's a lot of options. St. Louis, like you said, needs a shortstop. even like there's so many teams that like need a shortstop, but I think he
Yeah.
goes back to Atlanta. And then the last one, Trey Turner, I see either Philadelphia or he's going back to the Dodgers. The Dodgers have a lot of money; they can offer it. Sorry, sadly, Justin had to leave us. He had some technical difficulties. Everybody loves
Yes.
Justin, so shout out Justin. But
Shout out
yeah,
Justin.
with Trey Turner, I see him going back to the Dodgers. He's a perfect fit for the Dodgers too. I mean, he plays shortstop there, and then there have been rumors about the Dodgers also speaking. I always bring up Aaron Judge, but you could see the infield switching up for the Dodgers too, because they're saying if they sign Judge, they can move Mookie Betts to second base there. And there's a lot of things that I am kind of like curious to see what the Dodgers do, because the Dodgers are always in on everybody too. I think it's either going to be the Dodgers, or the Phillies for Trey Turner.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm shocked. I forgot about the Baltimore Orioles, and they, obviously being in the AL East with us they're very interesting. I use the word case study a lot because they can spend money and they could be players, and obviously they were a competitive team last year, and God forbid they get a couple good guys in there, because that all of a sudden that clubhouse becomes very dangerous. Becomes very, very dangerous. All right, we're gonna switch a little speeds, rundown. Outfield. Mitch Haniger. Dude, so the more I looked up, Craig Teed, our boy Craig Teed at Grandstand Productions, he put out a tweet, and I just want to give him the proper credit for it. He put out a spray chart on Mitch, and the spray chart for his hitting fits Fenway Park it just beautifully, just absolutely beautifully. I think with his monster swing, right? Can we pull some numbers on Mitch? He is one of the most versatile of the options when it comes to the outfield, because not only could he play the outfield, but he could also play DH. And he is a hefty bat. He is an absolute hefty monster bat. His defense, I don't know much about, Rob. I got to be honest with you. I don't know much about it, but I know he could smack the ball around. So let's talk about Mitch a little bit. What are we hearing and what do we know?
What I know about Mitch Haniger is he is a player that has all-star caliber potential. I mean, we've seen Mitch Haniger do it in the past. Hit 20-plus homers, 30-plus homers. He was amazing in Seattle. He had a stretch where he was really amazing for Seattle. This is before they had stud outfielders like Kyle Lewis out there. And J-Rod. And Kyle Lewis had a good rookie year. J-Rod and Kyle Lewis, who he had a good rookie year. Obviously, he's a Diamondback now. But that's before they had two stud outfielders. Now one's gone. But this is back when they had Mitch Haniger as their star outfielder, way before J-Rod was even called up. Mitch Haniger's a guy who, when we saw it, like looking at the spreadsheet, the spray chart of what he would do at Fenway Park, his numbers this year, he would have had 30 home runs at Fenway Park, over 40 doubles.
Yeah.
His swing's built for Fenway. He'd be a perfect DH outfield position. I'm not going to lie to you. I think there's some things that you could do. Obviously, there's still options that you could put out there, but I think he would be a perfect just slot him at DH guy, because, I mean, his fielding's not the best. I've heard his fielding's not the best. And, I mean,
that's kind of what I was.
I mean, JD is a guy, too, that you could get back at DH, but you got to think about it. Maybe his swing was messed up. He looked like he was on top of the ball a little bit more, but I feel like JD is also a guy. If you can get him back on a friendly club deal, I think he could be back at Fenway Park too with the Red Sox. But I think Mitch Haniger is a great option for an outfield and DH. And then obviously, once we get Mitch Haniger, though, if we put him at DH, there's still a hole in that outfield, so we still need to work on our outfield a little bit. But I think Mitch Haniger coming to Fenway Park would be a perfect site. He's perfect for Fenway. His swing is built for Fenway Park.
His swing is built for Fenway Park. He's a hefty bat. I didn't want to criticize the guy's defense just in case he comes across this podcast and he's like, "Hey, wait a second, I could do all right in the field." He's an interesting idea. Jose Abreu was a guy that we mentioned, and Jose Abreu we thought could be a really, really good fit at DH for the Red Sox. I will tell you this. It breaks my, it frustrates me that he wound up in Houston, only because it's like the rich get richer, right? Because I like Jose Abreu. I really do. And I don't want to see Houston become any more dynamic or powerful than they already are. The thing that I am glad about with Jose Abreu, and the thing that I will gladly fall on my sword about, was the money. Right? He got 3 years, $60 million. To me, too much. $20 million a year for Jose Abreu. I had him around the 15 a year. I mean, we're talking about five mil per year that I was almost off on, even 17 and a half. You know, if that's what it took for him to wind up in Houston, by all means, okay, it didn't work out, but now we need to pivot, right? And I feel like this offseason we've just been pivoting. Tyler Anderson signs, right? All right, let's pivot. Jose Abreu signs. Okay, let's pivot. Let's go down that wormhole. What are we going to look at? So, what do we want to talk about? It's Jose Abreu. Was it going to be a fit? Was there an offer given? I think
when it comes to this offseason, I feel like the thing that really sucks is the Boston Red Sox are always finishing second in these moves. And it just hurt. Obviously, the Red Sox made a couple signings. They ended up getting, obviously, Joely Rodriguez, which was a solid pickup. I mean, his ERA speaks a lot, but obviously it's the Mets. Their defense hasn't been the best. But he has a lot of good advanced stats. But another thing is, Jose Abreu, I really thought should have been – they said that he was the Red Sox number one option this offseason besides Xander Bogaerts. They were talking to him since the offseason started. And losing him to Houston sucks because losing Jose Abreu to Houston, like you said, the rich get richer. I mean, imagine that a team that had a crazy lineup just got one of the former MVP. I know 2020 is he still won an MVP. An MVP is an MVP, whether how you look at it. You get a former MVP, a guy who has good numbers, good power numbers. I mean, it declined a little bit last year with Chicago, but I feel like he's still an amazing hitter. Boston lost out on that. And then obviously today we got the news that Zach Eflin, obviously, as you saw, the race on. They spent a bag. They spent 3 years and $40 million for him, which is crazy. The Red Sox offer the same contract, and he went to Tampa Bay. So what I'm seeing right now is Boston. This is what I like to see. They're pushing stuff out there. They're making offers. So Chaim Bloom wasn't lying about trying to make the team better. So that's good to see that the Red Sox are making at least an effort on trying to improve the team.
Well, I think Chaim is calling our bluff. So much of Red Sox Twitter and so much of Red Sox news that comes out isn't very positive, right? Like we are very easily we pulled the trigger on him very easily. And we look at Chaim and we say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And now over the last few days, we've heard some of the things that they've been doing. And that to me shows initiative. And that to me shows, okay, maybe they are, working on some things that we might not have seen or we may not have noticed. And not only that, we've said it once, I'm going to say it 100 times. This front office is keeping things very close to its chest, very close to its chest. We're going to beat that. We're going to beat that statement down because I don't think we're going to know until we know. And I think we could speculate and we could talk, and that's fun, and that's great. What were the numbers on Zach? What did he get from Tampa? What was it? 340?
3 years, $40 million. So
40 million. So this is the issue, right? Like Florida, no state income tax, right? He is a Florida guy. He's from Orlando. And I'm not saying that, Boston, if it's between Boston and Tampa, you would think that he would probably want to play with the Red Sox, but I'm not necessarily heartbroken at the fact that he went to Tampa. Looking at his numbers over last year in his career, they're okay. They're not anything that like blows you out of the water. And it's like, oh my God, this is someone that we definitely needed and what have you. Not at all. Like this to me, I don't feel like we took a loss on. Like this is something that's just like, no, we threw our hat, in the ring. He chose to go somewhere else. Okay, cool. Like let's move on to the next guy. I think that it's going to be beneficial that the more that we hear that the Red Sox involved, the more that we're going to be willing to accept what happens, if that makes sense. The more that we hear that Chaim is actually really working, right? Everybody's like, oh, Chaim cooking season. And we haven't heard anything. to me, it blows my mind. Like, it just blows my mind. And I do get impatient, but I'm starting to tone it down. All right, we talked about winter meetings. We talked about Mitch. We talked about Zach. What else do we got? Rob, what else we got?
Well, we still have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Red Sox. We got to talk about the holes in the outfield, talk about the bullpen.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said about Joely re-signing, a guy who I
Yep.
really want the Red Sox to bring
Oh,
back
we
to
did.
Adam Ottavino. So
Yeah, Adam Ottavino. Yeah, with Adam Ottavino isn't. I thought he pitched well in Boston. I mean,
pretty good.
he had
that
his
one
moments.
bat,
Yeah, he had his moments. He definitely had his moments. I didn't think that Adam Ottavino was as bad as the media made him out to be. He went to the Mets and he pitched very well. Pitched very well in New York, and that was good to see him kind of get a little bit more comfortable. Maybe a second go around with the Red Sox would be interesting with Adam, because going to a city where the pressure is he's used to, right? Like, he's already kind of had to deal with it. So that could be something that definitely fits in our wheelhouse. Something I want to talk about as far as the Red Sox go. Xander, Devers, Story, Cassis. That's our infield, right? If Xander does come back,
fingers crossed. I think Bogarts will
fingers
come back.
crossed. I don't want to jinx anything. Is that the best infield in the American League or in baseball?
I say yes, absolutely.
I mean, we could probably argue. Well, I'm not going to argue, but I know there's people out there who probably would say Houston's infield is probably up there. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah, I think Boston. If Boston's able to retain Xander, all of a sudden your infield to me is the best in Major League Baseball.
Oh, absolutely. You got to look at it that way, because there's Houston has a great infield now. I mean, Abreu's great, but Boston's infield, I mean, a left side of the infield. Yeah, defensively. I know you guys are defensively they're not the best. Who cares about the defense if they're 30 plus home runs a year? Devers and Bogarts left side amazing. Story's amazing still. He's a great defender. And with the shift being eliminated this year, having if you get Xander Bogarts back, Red Sox having two shortstops, they'll have an advantage, because you need someone with range. Because guys like Joey Gallo, Anthony Rizzo, they're going to take advantage now that there's no shift. And having a guy with great range is what you need. And then another thing, obviously, Tristan Casas is going to be amazing this year. It's his first full season. I think he's going to be amazing this year. He has a lot of potential as well. And I think who beats the Red Sox infield? Maybe the Astros, but there's no infield better than the Red Sox.
I agree. When I look around the baseball world, and I like to pull names, and I like to see, and we'll see where the chips fall, right? We'll see where these big names land. The Red Sox are really putting themselves in a position to put together a pretty decent team. I want to switch to starting pitching. I'm going to switch it up. Kodai. Let's talk about Kodai. Kodai, it's so funny, because what we typically see with Japanese players is when there's an interest in the U.S., we see an abundance of teams that are linked, right? There were reports that, and I now believe the way Heim is working in the shadows, or kind of lurking in the shadows. I do believe that Kodai is involved with Boston. I think Boston's involved. I do believe probably the Yankees are involved. I do believe the Cubs are involved, right? Like all the normal players, right? Like all the usual suspects. Kodai, 17 to 17 and a half, anywhere between 3 and 5 years would probably be the market value for Kodai. By the way, Mitch Haniger, his market value 4 years at a AAV of $50 million per year, so that would put you at $60 million. Once again, decent. Kodai, decent. This is not, your money, and you have money to spend, is really going to go towards Xander. Right? It has to. And obviously locking up Devers. We could talk about Devers. Why not? What's an Inside the Sox episode without talking about Rafael Devers?
You can't
and his brother.
Talk about Rafi.
Yeah.
You can't talk about Rafi and Xander without our Inside the Sox podcast episode. Let's be honest. Xander Bogaerts, we're gonna talk about Xander Bogaerts because he's amazing. He's amazing. We love Xander here. I think he's gonna come back. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. Xander Bogaerts is a Red Sox shortstop. He's the captain of the team. Rafael Devers, they have the money. We've been seeing the Red Sox a lot on Twitter now recently saying they're getting very close to extending Devers, and that makes my soul happy.
Yeah.
That makes my heart happy seeing them finally just like lock up the guy who's been here since his rookie year. He's a guy who's been arguably, like you said before, Aaron Judge had that crazy year. We were talking about Rafael Devers being in the front running for the MVP. A guy that's putting the team on his back every year. Dude mashes. He absolutely mashes. He is insanely good with the bat. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, the defense. Yeah, so what about the defense? If he's hitting 30-plus homers to 40 homers a year, I'll take that over the defense any day of the week. Rafael Devers, I love Rafael Devers. I want him here for the rest of his career. And his brother Xander Bogaerts. It's a package deal. If you lose one, you lose the other. If one comes back.
This is so terrifying, man, because well, I'll start with the positive. The positive is that Xander, I'm sorry, not Xander, Rafael Devers, when they were talking about the space, we always use the term oceans apart because that's what was given to us when these negotiations of an extension first began. They're now closing. The last reports that came out on Rafael Devers earlier this week was only 50 mil. I know 50 mil sounds like a lot, to people. They're like, oh, 50 million, that's a tremendous amount. But when you're talking about extending players, and especially for very long years and high salaries, 50 million isn't that far off. 50 million isn't something that can necessarily, I mean, I guess it could break the bank or break the ties. But I think they're getting close. And this is where I don't want to be patient anymore. Like I want to pick it up. Xander and Rafi are brothers. You lose Xander, I would put I'd put my life savings on the fact that Devers doesn't even talk about an extension. I really do. I would literally put. I know it's crazy, and I know. But if you do not bring back Xander, the ship on Rafael Devers leaves the port. It does. It leaves. It goes.
It's very scary because I know that they're brothers. Like he said it himself. You saw, like, again, I said it in the first episode when they hugged. Like when Bogaerts got taken off the field, that was a hug. Like, I'm gonna miss you. Or I want you here forever. They have a love that like no other. But like when you play baseball, especially growing up, like I'll tell you, like I have played baseball a couple years ago, not too far back, like 4 or 5 years ago. When you play baseball with people, you become a family. You share a dugout with people every game. You share a clubhouse with them, especially in Major League Baseball. 162 games, 180 plus if you make it to the playoffs. You go in spring training too. You're sharing. You're traveling with them. You shower with them. That. Just like you go everywhere with them. You go out to eat with them, share a hotel room with them. They're your brothers. They are your family. When you're away from your family, that's your family there. And Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers are like, they've shared rooms. They share lockers next to each other. They are like and share the left
side
inseparable. Of the together. They're inseparable. They're like
they're inseparable.
Friends. That's one thing that you need to understand. Baseball is a brotherhood. Baseball is like a family. You lose a family member, you get upset. You grieve. It's a very, like, you lose a player. Like we've seen it. We've seen Christian Vasquez when he got traded. The dugout. You will see Kevin Plawecki when he got cut.
Yep.
It's just you feel like an empty hole because you're losing a piece, and you don't want to lose Xander Bogaerts because if you lose him, that kills the team morale. The team morale goes down because you lose a leader in the clubhouse, a leader on and off the field, a leader everywhere. And same thing with JD Martinez, another guy who's like very good with teaching the young hitters. I mean, we've seen it with Tristan Casas. He's like a prime example of a young JD looking at the iPad, watching his swing, teaching people about their swing trajectory. It's like you lose guys like that, you're losing chemistry. And that's one thing about, especially in baseball, with it being a long season, you need to have a good team morale or else you're going to go from the top of the top, as you can see, like in 2021 or 2018 with the Red Sox, or the bottom of the bottom, as you can see last year.
Well, and I think you see team morale and team chemistry, and And let's look at Aaron Judge, dude. Like, look at, if you're telling me it's a coin flip between San Francisco, right? He is a California guy, and being the captain of the New York Yankees. The fact that it's even 50-50, let's say San Francisco is offering the same contract as New York, it tells me that those pinstripes really don't mean that much, right? Like growing up for me in the 90s and the early 2000s, those pinstripes killed me, dude. Every single time I saw them, they made me sick to my stomach. And the fact that Aaron Judge is and the reports are coming out that this is a 50-50 toss-up, I don't know how bad Aaron Judge wants to be there. But back to the Red Sox, chemistry to me is everything. Bringing Xander back solidifies the chemistry. It solidifies something that the Sox really haven't been able to do, and that's lock up their homegrown post trade deadline final year contract, right? We escaped the trade deadline without losing Xander. That gave us hope. There was no deal. We knew there wasn't going to be a deal before the end of the season. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew it was going to go into free agency. We are now seeing the reports that we get that it's a good sign that Xander's coming back. If the Sox get this right, if Chaim gets this right, I'm taking a deep breath before I lose my mind. If Chaim gets it right, okay, you're talking about bringing together a team that is full of chemistry, even with the holes that we still have. I mean, a hole at DH, hole at outfield, starting pitching, we need bullpen, we need. That's fine. We'll figure that out. There's other pieces out there. People need to understand that there are other pieces out there, and we all complain that the Red Sox weren't involved in any of the reports and the names and stuff. I need to call myself out. I couldn't have been more wrong, because the more information that's given to me, I'm going, wait a second. No, they're in on people. They are completely in on people and guys that, probably weren't the ones that we were talking about when the offseason began.
Especially with like that. Like, I think that the big thing about it is, even I said it from the beginning, you can never count the Red Sox out. I'll say this every single time. The Red Sox, even though everybody's going to say Chaim Bloom doesn't want to spend money. Trust me, the Red Sox want to spend money. They do.
Yeah.
They like their fans. I know. Well, I don't know if the ownership likes their fans. I know the managers and the players love the fans, but obviously the Red Sox are going to spend the money. It's just like now we're seeing this with the Zach Eflin, the Jose Abreu, all these situations where they're saying the Red Sox finished second. At least they're showing interest. Like I said,
they're showing interest.
That the Red Sox want to improve their roster, make a team, put out a team that is actually going to perform and make the fans happy. And especially if I see a guy, let's say Mitch Haniger signs in a couple days with the Red Sox, I'll be happy. If a guy like Rafael Devers gets extended, I'll be happy. It just goes to show you that the Red Sox are trying to put the effort in to make sure their fans are happy and put a product on the field that's a winning team, because this team is capable of winning. We've seen it before. Last year was just a fluke, I think. And if we got a couple of pitching help, if we get a little bit of help on the bullpen, a little bit of help in the pitching, a little bit of help in the outfield, keep Xander Bogaerts, extend Rafael Devers, this team could be a problem for a long time. Yeah. And we have a young farm system, too, that can be caught up in a few years. Keep your eyes on the Boston Red Sox. We're not going anywhere.
And I think it's crazy, because I think it's all part of Bloom's master plan. He wanted to build a farm system, and he's been able to do that. And now all of a sudden, he's becoming more and more interested in the free agent market, which I really thought we were just going to become Tampa of the North. And maybe he's not. Maybe he's a lot smarter than we're giving him credit. Maybe he is the evil, kind of genius that some people make him out to be, right? Because as much as it's like, oh, well, he's stacking prospects, and that's something that as Red Sox fans, we're kind of like, who cares if he stack prospects? Like, we want to win. We want to win now. We want talent on the field now. Maybe he's doing it right. Maybe he's not only setting us up for immediate success, but all of a sudden, the Bellows and the Casas and the Mayers and all these guys who are waiting in the wings to come up, it gets real interesting. It gets really, really freaking interesting. Do we have anything else? That's a shorter episode. Winter meetings.
A little shorter this time. when the winter
Little
meetings
sort of,
happen, we're gonna have a lot to talk
yeah,
about because dominoes are gonna fall. People are gonna land here, and people
yes,
you never know. We might see a Red Sox signing. So,
that's
obviously,
absolutely.
we're gonna obviously be if anything happens and the Red Sox make like a big signing, like break the internet type signing or any signing at all, we'll obviously keep you posted on Twitter. On the podcast,
Yeah,
we'll drop another episode if we have to. Obviously, pushing out videos is things that are make us happy. Pushing out podcasts. We had to push one out before the winter meetings before things
we
go
had to.
haywire.
We had to. And I always have to reiterate this, and it's not a cop out or anything like that. It's very hard to put out consistent episodes the way that we are with the limited amount of information that we have. Now, we could sit here like two dudes like we always do, and we have a great relationship and just talk socks, right? But we don't want to bore you. We don't want to keep talking about the same things. We wanted to get into the winter meetings. What are the winter meetings? What do they look like? What could possibly happen? We're covered all those things. We're looking at a couple different players that the Red Sox are definitely showing interest in, even guys who have signed elsewhere. They are showing the interest, right? The interest kings, as Rob likes to put it, the interest
Always the king
kings,
of interest, the
always
Boston
the
Red
king,
Sox.
absolutely king of interest. We appreciate, and we do this for our fans, right? We do this for the people who listen to the podcast. We do this for the people who care about the Boston Red Sox. We do this for the people who want to hear they want to hear the right news, right? They want to hear the camaraderie. They want to hear the fun that you and I have when we get on this and we get to talk about the Boston Red Sox. So with that being said, it's Rob, just to piggyback on it, we're going to be here during the winter meetings. If we got to do an episode, we're going to do an episode. If we got to do a short, we'll do a short. If we got to do whatever it takes to get you guys the information that you need from us, from whoever, wherever we're getting it from, we will be here. Absolutely. 100%. Justin, thanks for, Justin was on before and then did he take off on us? No, Justin's here.
He's still in the chat. I think he said having technical issues. So if you guys see
that's all right.
So if you're seeing this on YouTube right now, there he is.
There he is. There he is.
You see things switching up on YouTube a little bit. Don't worry. Usually we don't have technical issues. Sometimes it just happens. But if you see the podcast changing a little bit, it's okay. It happens, but we make it work. Justin's amazing. We love Justin. He runs an amazing Red Sox podcast. He runs an amazing Red Sox account, Grandstand Productions. If you haven't followed us already on there, follow us there. We post Red Sox content there too. We got I guess you guys already found out I'm voicing over some of the videos now, so you get to hear more of me if you want to. And I am working on trying to get us. We do have a TikTok account for Grandstand Productions. I'm trying to get the podcast, a nice little podcast TikTok started because the more the merrier. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Obviously, but Justin's the man. We gotta shout out Justin because if it wasn't for Justin, none of this would be possible.
None of it would be possible. And thank you, Justin, and thank you for everything that you do for us and the position that you've put us in to really succeed. I mean, that's the biggest thing is we love what we do, but Justin makes it so much easier today. New video dropped.
There's a new video today.
Yeah.
New video. By the way. Check it out on Grandstand Productions.
Yep.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you guys are seeing this, wherever you see this, wherever you listen to, it's Inside the Sox podcast. Subscribe to Grandstands Production on YouTube. I don't know why I said subscribe. I had a brain fart. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Instagram. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Twitter. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. And follow our personals too. We obviously want to grow our accounts as well.
We want to grow.
Kevin on Instagram. Follow Kevin on Twitter, wherever you can. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, wherever you can, because we love to keep you posted on the Red Sox, even in our personal lives if you want to know us, because we love to talk to the fans. We love to talk to the fans, even about baseball, about life in general. We love talking to you guys.
And to just to talk about life for a second. Tomorrow is my anniversary with my beautiful wife. We'll have been married for 5 years. Yeah, we could clap it up for that.
Congrats.
Yeah, we could pump.
Yes, sir.
We're two diehard Red Sox fans who are raising a little girl who's got her official crown this year of her Red Sox hat from Fenway Park, and I couldn't do anything that I do without my wife and everything that she provides for our family, and such a strong-minded woman, strong personality, definitely strong personality, But it's unbelievable what we've been able to create, and I'm looking forward to a healthy long journey with her. So guys, like, subscribe, share, please. We love each and every one of you. Keep tuning in. Stay blessed. Thank you guys.
Adios, y'all. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.